Thanks for checking out the show. My name is JD, and this is Watch Stuff With Us. We are going to be doing a breakdown, a deep dive into episode 4 of Daredevil Born Again. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that you are notified each and every time we go live in 2025, which is for every episode of Daredevil Born Again. Also, we're going to be doing The Last of Us Season 2 starting in a couple weeks too. So, man, this is the channel where you want to be at. But anyway, let's get this started, and we will use this to break down episode 4. Again, big shout out to everybody at Screen Crush, man. Love that channel.
He got life! How about old Foggy? He got life.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in Daredevil Born Again, Episode 4. The title of this episode is Sic Semper Systema, which means thus always to the system. In an episode that is all about how the system fails ordinary people, this title is about how the system is flawed and must fall, and it ties into the main theme of the episode, forgiveness. Now, as always, we're going to be talking a lot about Matt Murdock's Catholic beliefs in this video because I think it informs the theme of this show. When somebody is sent straight to hell, it means that they are denied the forgiveness of God. And as we will talk about throughout this video, we see that Matt is
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody has probably already seen most of the Netflix Daredevil series, but the religious aspects of these series, and especially when that comes to Matt, have been prevalent in the comic way back in the day. They're prevalent definitely in the show previously on Netflix, but I would say the religious tones haven't been quite as strong on the Disney Plus side of this. But yeah, we might see more of that coming soon. So I'm definitely interested to see if they continue with that theme, because that is an essential part of Daredevil and his ongoing story.
Is unable to forgive himself, just as his mirror opposite.
Man, seeing Matt break down there, man, that got me a little bit emotional too. Not gonna lie. Just, I mean, to see him hurting so bad about Foggy dying, man, that's rough.
Fisk is unable to forgive Adam.
Or is it my penance for what I did?
No.
You're punishing me for
I'm
Adam.
not punishing you for anything.
You're leaving me out in the cold.
All right, while they're talking right there real quick, I want to go back and I'll put it on the screen. But the actress that plays Kingpin's wife on here, apparently they had a different actress initially who was going to replace Vanessa in this series. But after Kevin Feige came in, the guy who runs the MCU, came in and said, like, no, we're going to change this back. They brought back some of the characters from the original show. So every scene that you see with Vanessa, at least up until this point, is there was another actress who played that. They spliced that actress out and they brought in the new Vanessa to have her come in and like redo all of those lines and stuff. So when you see like Wilson talking to Vanessa, he's talking to the other actress, and they did some camera trickery, tomfoolery, and were able to get the new Vanessa actress to be like spliced into those scenes. Like, I thought that was crazy. Like, if you didn't know that, there's no way that you would have known. Like, you just thought that, you know, it was just a regular scene and that they did it that way normally. Nope, that is not the case at all, which is crazy to think of.
Give Adam.
Or is it my penance for what I did?
No.
You're punishing me for
I'm
Adam.
not punishing you for
You're
anything.
leaving me out in the cold.
And real quick, I want to remind
And yeah, last week I couldn't think of Adam's name, but yeah, Adam is the dude that Kingpin had in his in the dungeon. When he went to go smash the peppers, the onions, and the pasta, he had somebody in the dungeon in a cage, and I didn't realize that was Adam. But yes, that is 100% Adam. That is yeah, Kingpin is definitely reverting back to his Kingpinish nature.
you guys that you can now listen to Screen Crush on Spotify. I thought it was appropriate that
listen
his
to
wedding
Screen
ring
Crush
is
when you're not
back
watching
just
Watch
before
Stuff
his
With Us.
white tiger gear. It shows how he ended up putting his superhero identity ahead of his marriage. Now, the last object to be bagged up is his amulet, and I think there's a reason why the show keeps focusing attention on it, you know, like Matt did in the judge's chambers.
He wasn't in possession of his mystical amulet or in the white tiger outfit at the time of the incident.
Give it to Charlie Cox, though. That is one of the silliest lines of dialogue.
Now, one of the things that I didn't know about, like, I knew a little bit about White Tiger previously to watching the show, only because I had seen things online. Like, I don't really remember White Tiger, at least this version of White Tiger, being on any of the comics that I used to read back in the day. But apparently he has a mystical, magical amulet that helps to give him power. I don't know why that amulet didn't stop him from spoiler alert, from getting shot in the head, but yeah, that amulet did not help him then, but apparently that amulet gives him like super strength, gives him a lot of powers. And I thought that it was going to be interesting to see how they show that in this show, since this show is so much more grounded than most of the other MCU shows that we watch, MCU shows and movies that we watch. So I was kind of interested in seeing that, but come to find out, lo and behold, no go.
Ever, but he delivers it with total sincerity. So in the comics, the White Tiger amulet gives powers to members of the IO family. Both his sister and his niece become the second and third White Tiger in the comics after his death. Oh yeah, she's in this episode.
Yep, and you can definitely tell that they are building up that character. I don't know if they're going to keep the same actress, but I enjoyed her emotion that she showed in this scene, man. Like, that's tough to be able to call on the tears. Like, not even just the regular tears. Like, she brought in the big tears. Like, look at her eyes, man. Like, she brought in the big tears for this. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to keep her. I know that the MCU is sort of planning the Young Avengers, also possibly known as the Champions. But yeah, so it would be interesting if they decided to put her into that crew. And I like that we got a little bit of her origin story via this show. Whenever you can like sort of weave in these little things into a current show that will like lay the foundation for future events and future situations, like I'm all about that. Like I love when they tie things together in that way.
Well, exactly. So she could end up being the next White Tiger and maybe even join the Young Avengers. Notice she's even wearing...
Every time I do these shows, like I say things like I don't preview any of these breakdowns because I feel confident enough in my skills that I know enough about these shows that I can break it down without needing any of this stuff. But I like to use it for the visuals and as a way of like recapping things. So yeah, I don't watch these ahead of time, but it's always crazy that they end up saying things and then, well, I end up saying things and then 2 seconds later they say the same thing. So, you know, kudos to me for being the and knowing my MCU stuff. Kind of, sort of, mostly.
White sweatpants, foreshadowing. And the vending machine in the background here also reminds me of an Easter egg that I missed last episode. Max Taff on Twitter pointed out this ad for Pingo Doce Pop, which they bottle at the plant where Bruce Banner worked in The Incredible Hulk. This is the first of 3 conversations that Matt has about how the system is failing ordinary people.
They killed him, didn't they?
Every conversation Matt has in this episode moves.
Yo, if you're watching right now, please hit that like button. Support the channel. Support your boy JD.
Was killed, and her rage is just like Matt's anger after he discovered his father's body.
Now remember, I'm here every week. Hold on, I gotta pause this. I'm here every week doing this. Every week. Hit that subscribe button, man. Show your boy some love.
Matt first put on the mask is because he heard the cries of a little girl who was being abused by her father. He tried to call child services, but they didn't do anything. So
He spent the next month in a hospital, eating through a straw. And I never slept better.
Now, as a lawyer, Matt Murdock has sworn to work within the legal system. But these 3 conversations gradually help him to realize that the system is designed to protect the people in power and just exploit the lower classes.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's sort of taken Matt that long. And I mean, I can understand it because he's a lawyer. Like, I get it. You're a lawyer, and because you're a lawyer, you want to believe in the law. You want to believe in the system. But this system is corrupt. In real life, the system is corrupt. So I get that he's having sort of a crisis of character. And we see that in this episode. And I think that Foggy passing away was sort of a jumping off point for his descent into this like questioning of everything. Like, we haven't really gotten to the point where they show him questioning, but you can tell the way he acts, the way he reacts to things, the way he looks, like he's questioning a lot of things, especially a lot of things about his own faith, his faith in himself, his faith in religion, his faith in the legal system, which he's based his whole life around. So he's questioning all these things right now. And I cannot wait to see if he's going to eventually rise back up, or are we still going to see more and more of the descent? Because I got a feeling that he's going to dip and dive even further into the darkness as this episode 5 and 6 tonight. I think we're kind of going to get even more of that.
The city. No one's doing anything about it, and no one's ever gonna do anything about it. Because he was just Hector from the Heights.
Yo, she was killing it.
Fucking cops.
And this is
Ooh.
also showing us
Ooh.
how ordinary citizens have a growing distrust toward the
was
power
killing
structures of the city, which is what led to the
I need
election
to find
of
out
Wilson
that young
Fisk.
actress's name. She was great.
Mayor Fisk.
And from what I understand, this is James Gandolfini's son, James Gandolfini of The Sopranos, rest in peace. But yeah, this is apparently his son. And it's kind of cool to see the part that he's playing. It kind of reminds me of with Kingpin being like Tony Soprano, and then one of his lackeys sort of being over here being his son. So yeah, it's interesting that they decided to do something like that. I hope that he doesn't like, you know, get killed off at some point towards the end of the show or anything like that. I'd like to see his character develop and see where it goes.
That's the coolest thing on the planet.
Appropriately, this episode also shows us how Fisk feels constrained by those same power structures.
With all due respect, you can't just decide something and then speak it into existence.
And why is that?
It's so funny that this draws a lot of parallels to what we have going on in our own country right now, where you get somebody who just so happens to win an elected office and has decided that they can just do whatever they want to do. And you know, you can feel that way, you can want it to be like that, but that is not how politics works. That's not how official offices work. So as Kingpin is sort of learning, or I should say Wilson Fisk is learning that he can't Kingpin everything. So yeah, you got his assistant right here who's trying to tell him like, yo, you know, there's a process to this. You got to slow it down a little bit, buddy. You got to slow it down.
That Sheila.
This is city government.
But more on that later. So you guys have probably noticed that today we are featuring Daredevil artwork in the
All right, we got how many people we got watching? We got enough people watching that we should not have 4 likes. Please hit that like button, man. I do this for free each and every week. All I ask for you to do is hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you think about what I'm doing on here. Let me know what you think about this Green Hulk shirt that I'm rocking today.
this video because our from plus thousands if you use my code who can create a sensory vortex around him so Matt can't hear his movements or smell him and cameras cannot record him. He's a deranged artist who creates a
I wonder if we're gonna get that aspect of him as well during this series, or if they're just gonna lean into the more brutality, the more brutal side of the character and not so much the sort of mystical side of the character.
mural from the blood of 100 victims, and he believes that he was actually doing his victims a favor. By turning their bodies into art, he thinks that he gives their lives meaning.
Scary guy? Scary talented.
Now, after Fisk becomes mayor, Muse taunts him with pro-vigilante graffiti all around the city, like we see here. So this shows 2 sides of the Kingpin. The higher half shows the city within him, like it's a part of his essence. And also notice it's composed of a dollar bill, including the Eye of Providence. Now, this is the symbol that, we see on our currency that is used to imply the presence of God. And the eye is placed on top of a pyramid where pharaohs were buried, pharaohs who ruled their kingdoms like gods. So this inclusion is
I love that they have all the artwork in the show, and it's going to eventually tie back into the villain of the show. So it's like you see this artwork and you don't really think anything of it. You just think that it's something that somebody in the city has been doing. But no, it's going to turn out that the actual villain of the show has been making these murals the entire time. Dope.
implying that Wilson Fisk rules the system and controls all of the power structures, City Hall, religion, and the police. After all, he is the king with the crown hovering over his head like an angel's halo. But the other half, made up of inverse colors, depicts his hidden self in black, actually ruling over the fires of hell. Now notice this version is fatter, more like the Kingpin that we're used to. Now this imagery of hell comes back later in the episode where we see Fisk's dungeon, but more on that in a bit. Notice, of course, we see Muse's signature at the bottom, and we also see it beneath the triggered Punisher art that we saw last episode. Also, notice that the running paint from...
I really get mad when I see that the corrupt police officers have decided to co-opt the Punisher logo. Yeah, that makes me upset. That makes me upset. I don't like that. I love the Punisher logo, and I hate that it's being used for something that it shouldn't be used in this show and also in real life right now. So kind of had to get rid of my Punisher logo stuff. Bored again, Christian. I see your comment. As soon as we finish over here, I will get your comment on screen and we'll talk.
The skull at the bottom forms the Statue of Liberty, implying that the city is literally shaped by vigilante justice. And then we see him carrying his victim to an underground lair, similar to one that he had in the comics. A.A. Ron on Blue Sky had a great theory, by the way, that this mentally unstable guy at Heather's book signing is actually Muse.
Dr. Glenn, I need help. Are you taking any new clients?
And then we go to the club, where BB Urick is partying with Daniel Blake, who is played by Michael Gandolfini, who you might have seen playing a young Tony Soprano in The Many Saints of Newark. After all, he is the son of James Gandolfini, who played adult Tony. Now, I smiled when their conversation in the club was about union garbage workers, because in The Sopranos, Tony always said that his job was in waste management.
I'm in a waste management business. Everybody immediately assumes you're mobbed up.
And props to BB here. She took Daniel out specifically to get him drunk so she could get him to leak.
When I was watching last week, I didn't even realize that that was BB that was going out with him, and that she was the one that was there to get the information from him and eventually throw it into one of her videos, which then eventually got out and it got back to Kingpin, and he knew that he had a leak in his crew. Like, yo, that was deep. That was deep. I was not expecting that to be her. And like, I know that he was actually feeling her. So it's interesting that she was willing to go to that length in order to continue to break a story. So it just shows what she's willing to do. I wonder if that type of riskiness is going to eventually catch her in a bad situation. Let's just put it like that.
Information about Fisk. Now, when he talks about Green Initiative, she calls him,
let's get Captain Planet here ACAB.
Now, Captain Planet was this cartoon in the 90s where 5 teenagers with magic rings could create a mulleted superhero who had the power of wind, fire, earth, water, and heart.
Wait, heart?
Yeah, heart.
What did they do with heart?
Actually, and this has always bothered me, the heart ring was the most important one because it gave Monty empathy and limited telepathy, but it's also what made Captain Planet was definitely one of my favorites. Otherwise, he would have been like Captain Pollution from the Mission to Save Earth arc.
I am Captain Pollution! Oh, okay.
Now, outside, we see a new Muse mural, this one depicting the white tiger mask framed by giant tiger eyes, with a script that reads Vigilante Justice. But there's a hidden detail here. If you look at the gap between the tiger's eyes, that's your mom. So across the street, Leroy Brown.
All right. On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end this breakdown. We did enough. I don't want to go completely through the episode, but I think we did enough to wet everybody's whistle. We are about to watch episode 5 and 6 of Daredevil Born Again. Thank you so much for checking out this episode 4 breakdown, deep dive into the Daredevil Born Again show. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what else you want to see us do on this channel. I appreciate you for checking this out. Don't be a stranger. Hit that sub button. My name is JD. Peace.